bed didn't go very well. It wasn't real happy when I got on the throttle. I was watching my vacuum gauge. I'm not sure if you guys can catch that out of the corner of the screen or not, but looks like the vacuum was low. It's kind of low at idle as well, so I got to figure out what's going on with that. I know that's just all part of carburetor tuning, but we'll figure it out. We're gonna get the bed put on and see how she looks. All right, guys, here we are. We're now at Johnny World again. It's where I was storing my 92 F-150 bed until I could get Alberta over here, and then we could get the bed placed. And you may be able to see behind me, maybe this way, we'll go this way. So you can see over here behind me, Johnny World has a backhoe. This is what we were using to raise and lower the bed onto the frame, onto Alberta, to try and get it lined up. But it was late last night when we were doing that. It was really dark. Trying to use a flashlight, it's not the best idea. But we got it on, and now we're just trying to get the bolt holes lined up. And like I said, last night it was dark, so I'm not sure if we were doing something wrong or if something is just way off or misaligned, but it's kind of looking like this isn't going to work. But that's what we're here today. I got my handy dandy tape measure, and we're going to get to it. Okay, so here it is. The bed is sitting on the frame, not bolted down, just trying to get the bolt holes aligned. But we're having some issues, so I'm going to talk to you guys about that now. So we got the rearmost bolts lined up. This matches width and forward and backward. It does appear to be kind of close, maybe for my comfort here. We did scratch it a little bit. You can kind of see, trying to get it placed with this bumper here. Now this is the stock 79 bumper. It's just been painted. And again, I was under the impression that the 73 to 1996, so 73 to 96 short bed or short box interior is the same. I know that sounds crazy, right? 73 to 96, this inside is all the same. It's just these posts are different depending on the tailgate to match the style, and then the skin here on the outside is different, but these post holes are the same, front and rear. Bed bolt pattern should be the same as the impression I was under, but that does not seem to be the case. If not, I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we'll figure something out. I guess I really don't want to drill holes in this thing because I don't think that's structurally a good idea. I think that'll weaken the bed, and it won't be able to hold itself down. Those bolts won't have a good place to anchor down. So I may just end up selling the bed and trying to find an original 73 to 79 bed that fits, which that will probably be impossible or very, very expensive, but we'll figure it out. So let's get these measurements on and then tell you guys what's up. Okay, so I was having some issues, couldn't get it moved around, so I figured the easiest way is to go ahead and just take the bed off again. So I just fired up the backhoe, pulled it off with the toe straps, and now I can measure the holes on the bed and compare them to the holes in the frame. For the mid bolts, we got to go more narrow on the frame. Front bolts, or front holes, we have to go wider on the frame. Oof. Alright, so maybe, and I got enough frame, I got enough space to do that, I hope. Take some more measurements and get back to you guys. Alright guys, so we got the truck back to the house. We had to use a ratchet strap to hold the front down. The bolt holes just did not line up. They just don't line up. But that's only on the front. The rearmost bolts, the ones right here by the tailgate, they did line up. The middle bolt was off just a hair. I believe it was 9/16 or something like that. So about a half an inch each hole was off. And the front was off over an inch on each side. I wasn't able to fix that. I didn't have the time to fix that over where we had the truck, where we were storing the bed, and we got this put on. So we did what we had to do, got the truck towed over here so I can work on it at my place, at my pace, and do things right. Over there I would have to be rushed trying to get things done as quick as possible so I can get the truck out of there that day. I don't like working under those conditions. People tend to sacrifice quality and safety when you do things like that, and I don't want to do either of those. So we got the truck over here, going to work on it now and see if we can get everything to fit properly. So what we're doing now is I measured from inside the bed rail, so on this front wall, inside to inside, and then found my middle point, and I used just a piece of tape right here and marked the middle. Now, if you assume these windows are in the middle of the cab, you can kind of see how far off we are. So I'm going to line up this middle mark with a middle mark. I'm going to do another mark here on the cab, line these 2 points up. I'm going to verify it with the old calibrated eyeball and make sure it looks the same here as it does on the passenger side. And then we're just going to use a punch down in that hole to mark the frame, and then we will slide the bed back and see how that's looking. So I'll have to take the bumper off, completely off. Well, maybe I can just swing that out of the way, and then that'll allow me to slide the bed back as far as I want to. Okay, so we got our holes marked up there. We're going to remove these 2 bolts and slide the bed back as far as we can, which I thought I'd be able to go pretty far, but looking at this now, I think this is about as far as I'm going to be able to go, and that distance is much less than the distance from that hole to the front of here. So I think my workaround will be to jack up the truck and put it on jack stands and then take the wheels off, and then I should be able to slide it back as far as I want. Okay, so we got the wheels off, it's on jack stands, and we got these 2 bolts removed. So now all that's off, I'm going to try and slide the bed back by myself and not kill my back. Alright, you can see that it's a good thing we removed the wheels so we could slide the bed back far enough that I could get in here, because if we only had an inch at most to move the bed, then that wouldn't be enough. I'd maybe get my hand in here with the drill and that's about it. Wouldn't even be able to see where I'm drilling or anything. It wasn't that hard. I just picked up on the rear of the bed and pulled. So it's fairly stable. It is kind of heavy, you know, in the back. If you put too much weight on the back, I'm afraid it may tip down, but where it's at now seems okay. So we're going to get to drilling these holes. Oh, and it's a good thing I marked the hole with the Sharpie. That is much easier and clearer to see. And same thing over there. It's much easier. I can see it from over here and not even have to walk over there. I'm done trying to drill holes in the frame. That's just not going to happen. I've worn out my brand new Christmas tree bit. May have been my fault. May have been the quality of the part's fault. I don't know. Can't prove either one. And even with that, the holes were so close to the vertical part. Excuse me, the bolts would have been so close to the vertical part of the frame, the nut underneath would not have fit. It wouldn't have allowed the bolt to be that close to the vertical part of the frame. So I've abandoned that. I've given up on it. It's not going to work. I could fabricate some brackets or something down there to make it work or make it fit, and that seems kind of excessive. It just does. So what I've decided is I'm going to drill holes in the bed to match the holes in the frame. Originally I didn't want to do that because on this 92, I think it is, 92 or 95, I don't know, early 90s, mid 90s F-150 bed, it has a support channel. It has a support channel running underneath all the way across from truck frame to truck frame, just kind of like a C channel. And then around where these bolt holes are, they actually boxed it in, so it's like basically sleeved. The hole is sleeved all the way through that box or that cross member support, all the way through. And I didn't want to drill a hole where there wasn't as much support or where there wasn't the support needed. I was afraid it would just crush the bed or bend it in, and then it wouldn't have all the support that it needs. But after doing measurements, or thinking about the measurements I already took, that hole, I've already drilled it, is so close to this one that it's going to get that support from that boxed in part that's right here. It's literally like halfway between these 2 holes. Now that side, I don't believe has any support on it, but really, again, I'm not going to be using this thing for heavy duty towing. I'm not going to fill the bed up with dirt or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to need that much support structure, especially if I can do the same with the other 4, you know, the 2 here and the 2 back there. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference on these 2. But I've already gotten part of the way through it. So I drilled my original hole, and it was off just a little bit. I have to drill it a little farther back. So what I did is I measured how far over I needed to go, and I got that measurement correct, and I didn't take into account that this original hole or factory hole is oval. It's not perfectly round. You may be able to see that. It's not perfectly round, it's oval, and I guess it allows the bed to slide forward and backward. I didn't account for that when I drilled this hole, so now I'm trying to fix that now and having a little issues, but we shall overcome. Just stay persistent. Don't lose your head. Don't get mad. It's an inanimate object. It has no emotions. It has no brain. It can't be mad at you. It can't hate you. It can't like you. Why do we get so attached to these things? Anyway, subject for a different day. I'm going to finish this and then do a little victory dance when I get this thing bolted down. We'll see you in a few minutes. No, for me, it's hopefully less than an hour. It's funny how when you're working on something and things don't start to go to plan, or something breaks, or the drill bit gets worn out and stops cutting the hole like it's supposed to, you hit something like that, you kind of start thinking about how to cut corners, or how to just force it to work, just make it work, use duct tape, super glue, whatever. And I was at that point. My drill bit, my Christmas tree bit was worn out at one particular size, wasn't going through the frame anymore. So I hear this chime start coming through the trees somewhere off in the distance, and I turn around and look, and there's an ice cream truck driving through my neighborhood. I think that's the first time, maybe the second time I've ever seen an ice cream truck go through my neighborhood. And so I got excited. I needed a break anyway, and it's funny how those little moments get put into your life to slow you down, to make you rethink things and kind of put things back into perspective. And I'm no longer going to cut corners. I'm not just going to force this to work and sacrifice, you know, safety or integrity or the way it's looking just to make it work. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, a little ice cream break. So I got the Elvis, or what they call the Elvis, because it's peanut butter, banana, and honey. Wow, this is delicious. But I just want to share that with you guys. Sometimes you need a break or a breather. I feel good. Alright, so I'm going to call it quits for today. I got this front passenger hole ovaled out, or whatever you want to call it. I prefer wallered out. That's what I've always used. I don't know. What do you guys normally use? I'm going to call it quits there today. I'm going to go to my mom, see her for her birthday. Family is way more important than things or stuff. So I'm going to go do that. We'll get back on this tomorrow. Alright, so this is day 2 of drilling the holes in the bed and aligning them with the bolt holes on the frame. As you can probably tell, I'm standing in the back of the truck. But not much more to talk about, I guess, on this day. So I'm just going to put you guys at an interesting angle, or a cool angle, whatever you want to call it, and do a time lapse and see me running around like crazy for the next maybe 2 hours and getting all these holes aligned. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got the holes underneath the bed. ovaled out. I'm going to have to go back later and clean up some of the rust. Right now, we're going to check the bolt hole alignment. Alright, so it's the next day, and I realized I forgot to show you the bolt holes are done. The bolt holes have been drilled. You can see how far over I had to go center to center. The holes are in the same place on the frame, but just the frame moves. That's why we have such a large difference here. Got this hole drilled through the top and the bottom of the channel, or the support channel that runs underneath the bed this way. And I slid the bed back and ovaled out the bottom as well as ovaled out the top so that I can slide the bed and do the fine-tuning adjustments that I need, forward or backward. I got it pretty well lined up. There it is, guys. I got everything on. I got the 4 bolts, both in the front, both in the rear. Not in my ear, in the rear. Tightened and holding it down, and this thing ain't going nowhere. It shakes the frame and the whole truck. Whew, that ain't going nowhere. Dad joke. So I got some cleaning up to do. I'm going to clean all this stuff out, put all my tools away, put the rear tires back on. And we know those fit. There's clearance on that. That's fine. And then if I just back it up down the driveway and maybe give it a good bath. The bed has been outdoors for a long time, and that's almost like mold or moss that's growing on there. So we'll get that washed up, but we'll get it cleaned up so at least it looks nice and neat. And so what do you guys want to see next on Alberta? Got the bed put on, we got the bigger wheels and tires. I did find a leaking master cylinder on this side. I replaced the other one, the rear not master cylinder, wheel cylinder, excuse me. This wheel cylinder is leaking. I replaced the other one, the driver's side, a few months ago. Now I gotta do this. I should have done that too, and I was just being lazy. But what do you guys want to see next? Put in the comments below, what do you guys want to see next? Thanks for watching the whole video. God bless. Okay, just kidding. We're not done. Wanted to show you guys with the wheels on, down on the ground. No difference really from how it was before. The wheel wells there, distance and whatnot. But now I have the bumper on, and throughout this process, I figured out my bumper is bent. See the clearance we have here around the bed? Well, there you go. It's about 1/4 of an inch. Get about half of my finger in there. I measured this, trying to figure out what was wrong, and that's like 3/4 of an inch. And all the way down here, this is a 1/2 inch, so it's 1/4 inch closer. And then here, the bumper was actually hitting the bed so low that I couldn't get the bolts lined up on the frame to get it tight. But that's how she sits now. Now we got to get the gas filler attached to the gas door up here and figure out how to get the brake lights attached. While I want to keep my stock wire loom or plugs, because I'm eventually going to get the correct style on the bed here that matches the cab, so I'm going to need these lights back and the type of wiring that they have, or maybe I'll upgrade it to a better weather pack or weather tight seal, something like that. But that's all we got left on the bed to make it functional, safe, and driving. Oh, and the tailgate's on. It's over there, just resting. Not really doing anything, but put that on and then we'll be good. Now that's really the end. I appreciate you guys coming hanging out with me, and it's really hot right now. The sun's beating down on me. Alright, so if you guys want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I post things there in between videos or between posting videos. Just kind of quick little updates or little snippets or pictures of what I got going on in between the videos. So I'll put those names below in the description if you guys want to follow those. So I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. God bless. That scared me. I didn't know what that was.